We're talking about breaking psychic bonds and answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like something in your end table that you should have this too.
Oh my god, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. What's going on? It's been an interesting week. I'm sure you guys have been feeling the heaviness. It feels like we're having a lot of discussions and chats about feeling heavy. But as we're at, what's going on? We have a lot going on in this world right now and a lot of things that are coming out. So sometimes that heaviness is just more of an exploration of more truth. I think a lot has been coming to light this year already. A lot of truths have been coming out and being displayed. So I think that's a good thing too. And so, as I've been a broken record on saying that this is a year of change, this is a year of movement. And so, those of you who are not on board, again, it will take you like a tornado. And so it really is going to be a healing year. And that's what the intention for this year is, to heal. And of course, sometimes you have to go through the chaos and reveal the truth to be able to heal. And that's what's going on. So who's in the room here? We have Nina, a wonderful mod, is here. She'll be directing you. And again, please follow her orders. She's your sergeant of the day. So if you have questions about how to get a reading done, and of course, let me put these up too, of the prices of the readings. $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, and live video now available if you want to do a live video reading with me. I used to do those on Instagram. People love those and people want them back. So we now have it available on YouTube. Okay. So hello to Jennifer Cruz, welcome. We have Ali Teller, welcome. Daryl Blankenship, hello. David Cruz, welcome. We have Jennifer and David Cruz, my makers, of course. We have Rashida, welcome aboard. It's good to see you. Ali, good to see you. Kat, good to see you. Patty Snow, good to see you. Erica Umodi, the two-tooth Tootsie creator. Never forget the two-tooth Tootsie from a couple lives ago. Burgundy Anderson, welcome. Tommy Garassi, Thursdays are reserved for Scott. I love that. I appreciate that. It is Thursday Night Live, right? So I appreciate that, Tommy. Good to see you. And who else is chatting in the room? And we'll get more in. Emberg, welcome. And BL, welcome. And those of you who are watching, I can't see you. I just know you're watching, so welcome aboard as well. And so let's get to the collective reading. And those who don't know, I will start with the collective reading. We'll get into the topic. The topic today is breaking psychic bonds. Okay. And so, that there's a lot of things that we are unaware of when it comes to connecting with people. And let me just move this over a bit because I feel like I'm not centered with the screen. There's a lot of connections that we have to people that we don't realize are still lingering. And that is what we call psychic connections. And so there are a lot of times that there are not people in your life. You might still feel their pull. You might still feel their essence, or you'll pick up on their anxiety and so forth. So why is that? And how do we break those freaking bonds? We'll get into that. Okay. And it's more simple than you all think. It's more simple than you all think. Okay. All right. Let's shuffle these cards and put on Where's my theta waves? Where is my theta waves? I want my theta waves. Let's put them on, shall we? Okay. For some reason, my music board was missing on the screen. Let's see what the collective read is. And, I'm trying to remember from last week. And I remember last week's, message, collective message was, allowing those little seductions in life to let your hair down and to, have fun and to, allow yourself to enjoy the process, right? And to not always have to push, and to understand even all the work that you guys have been doing intellectually, mentally, spiritually, you guys have been setting the tone for the future. So take celebration in that. So that was the last read last week collectively. And let's see what they want to say today. What our wonderful guides have to say for us here. And the shuffling is a little janky, I must say. And those of you who are new, I'm not a tarot reader. I'm a psychic, meaning I don't need the cards. But I use tarot readings for collective readings as such. Makes it easy. And sometimes I use them in conjunction as a secondary read. So, we's a shuffling. Okay. Erica, you're funny. Okay, it's kind of a continuation from last week, actually. But let's see here. This is somewhat of an emotional read, and we'll get to this and pull some oracles too. Erica, I've been getting my new hair, new makeup, new clothing, seducing myself, as it were. Well, I'm sure with the new hair, makeup, and the new, new clothing, you might be seducing somebody else. Sounds like. Time to get ready for that. I really like this. Okay, this is a somewhat of a continuation from last read. A lot of what they're saying is look at your creative mind, okay? Because you guys are very, agile and very, focused when it comes to your emotional strength. We have to also understand that we have a creative side to ourselves. And a lot of times we say creative, a lot of people associate that with artistic abilities and so forth, and that could be true. But when I speak about creativity, and I've said this before in the past, it really is about how you're going to maneuver around your circumstances. When things kind of change in your life, using that creativity to adjust your own world, to adjust your reality, to reform and reshift your reality. There's creativity when it comes to that. Especially if you're trying to get a specific endeavor done or thing off the road, using your creative mind to allow yourself to do that. And different ways you can get that going. And so the creative mind is the inspired mind. And the inspired mind is actually channeled from source, channeled from our creator, channeled from the Most High. Some people say, oh, we're tapping into the Akashic records. Whatever you want to say, we are tapping into the infinite source, the infinite intelligence. And that's where creativity comes from. So it's time for you guys to get used to that creative mind. And it doesn't mean, again, and if it does express in sort of a creative artistic endeavor, great, but it doesn't have to. It's just the way you go about formulating your mind, okay? And at the same time, understanding the creative mind is very much the divine feminine. If you want to say right brain, it's our intuition, it's inspiration, it's creativity, it's sensitivity. So if you want to think about kind of the right brain in that sense, or the divine feminine, and the left brain is very analytical, logical, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative sense. That's divine masculine. And so when we look at these different components of our thinking, of our brain, of our soul, we kind of bring that balance and bring things into harmony. That's where action takes place. Okay, and it also uncovers a lot of the secrets within ourselves and secret powers that we never thought we've had. They start resurrecting within us. Okay, because everything that you guys have been planting seeds on since a child, I would say, and every time you experience something that is unwanted, or every time you experience something that is, a negative to your life, you're actually subconsciously creating the future because of that negative experience, because it does bring to you a new point of view of what is desired for yourself. So that is always being generated for your future because you evolved. Every time we experience something we don't want, we evolve from that experience. It gives us a newfound voice, a newfound point of view, and each point of view opens up a new aspect of your world. And so I think that, I think it's really important for us to understand that, when we combine these two aspects of ourselves, that's where we find balance, okay? And that's where we find harmony. And, there's a lot to be said about keeping the faith. Okay, keeping the faith doesn't necessarily mean that you have to believe in a deity you've never seen. Keeping the faith means that you actually have trust and faith in yourself, that you understand all you have to do is just learn more about yourself to get things done. So keeping that faith in the self, and not so much when people say, "Oh, I'm a child of faith," or "I'm a person of faith." It's like, what does that mean? You have faith in a deity, okay? But we should be putting the faith in ourselves, because it's more easier to have faith in ourselves. It's a lot easier for us to find the source within, to have the faith to move forward and to achieve the things in our life that we want to achieve. But that comes with understanding the duality we have and that balance we have with the divine feminine, divine masculine, the creative mind and the analytical mind, the logical mind. And so I think understanding this balance will allow things to put into action, right? And so, and that's what the faith card, came up before too, just talking about the faith. You got to have faith. Isn't there a song, George Michael, something about faith? I think it was a George Michael song, if I'm not recalling correctly. And so you guys have to really understand that balance, because, this is a very simple message again, but it's more of like a reminder, because a lot of guys might be hovering in that logical brain. How do I get these done? What do I need to do to get things going? It's like, there needs to be a creative aspect and a creative approach to your life to allow these things to take flight, to allow these things to ravel on and to unfold for you guys. So remember, you can't just be analytical. It can't be all, go, 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 go. We got to sit back and be creative and inspired. And yes, we have Nina's card pull. I decided to do it after my read, Nina. So I'm going to show your pull after mine. For some reason, I wanted to get the collective read in first, and I feel like your read will kind of go as a good complement to the collective read. So I'm definitely going to show your card pulls. Okay. So let me pull a couple more cards too in conjunction to this, because I feel like there's a second part to this read. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But I want to see kind of there's a second part of this. And what can we expect for this upcoming week too, going ahead? So remember the creative mind and the analytical mind, but understanding the divine masculine, divine feminine, bringing that balance, okay, and using that creative mind to assist and bring the inspiration and to channel the information that you need and the intellect that you need and the guidance that you need to move forward, and let your divine masculine, your analytical mind, execute. Okay, understand that. Okay, we're just pulling the part two of this. Okay. What to expect this week? Honestly, there's going to be a lot of opposition this week, guys. You're going to have, relationships that have maybe been strained, all of a sudden could put amping up the tension this week. Parental, if there's some parental, parents and relationship with your parents that you might have that are out of balance, you might start noticing they're amplifying this week. You might start noticing that certain friendships that have been, weighing you down are starting to amplify on the weight, this week as well. So you might be feeling like a lot of you guys, if you haven't put these situations in proper balance, you might feel like they're coming at you from every different direction. Okay. And so it's really important to understand your foundation. It's really understand at this time this week to really establish your boundaries, because with that heaviness, it can be very distracting. And it could be very much, those of you who are very empathetic say, well, I got to do something. I feel bad for them. You just have to schedule your time for them and for yourself. Make sure you're doing that this week. You're scheduling that time, because otherwise you will lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing for yourself, because time flies quickly, as we know. And so you don't want this week to fly by to where you spend more time encumbered by other people's issues and all these unnecessary, mundane and irrelevant and vapid, circumstances simply because you felt bad. So make sure you're understanding this. So, the Four of Wands coming up saying that make sure you're settling in your home life, you're settling in your home energy, okay? And making sure you're using your home space as a way to be your own sanctuary and healing space. That's to be very important this week. So if it means that you're maybe staying in and not going out and not going to that party, maybe you might want to do that to avoid conflict. I think there's going to be a lot of conflict, a lot of things come from different angles, if you don't allow yourself to take a reservation from those things, okay? And reserve your space and reserve your energy and reserve your time, which is very necessary, And so I would say it might be a good time to be an observer this week too. Make sure you're just observing. You don't necessarily need to partake and to join into an argument or join into, circumstances or debates that are just not really that necessary. You might want to just observe, just to keep your energy, very much pure, and keep it, from being, I would say exported so much, or being too much on the outbox. Just like, when it comes to a mailbox, a lot of people are all outboxed, and so I would say allow there to be more inbox too. Just receive, just watch, just observe. And I think this week is really much about being an observer this week. Don't engage too much in pettiness, please, because you're going to start feeling a lot of that coming at you from different angles. Preserve your being. Okay? Now, that's kind of the summary of the collective read this week. And let's see what Nina has to offer in conjunction with her card pull. Let's check her out.
Hey y'all, it's me Nina. I'm excited to do this collective pull for y'all today. I got this like beam of light coming through and I'm just gonna roll with it. Already as I'm shuffling them, I'm getting this energy of this week has been really long, exhausting, and tiring. And Spirit's saying that there's this negative self-talk that's been going on around like, I'm just lazy, I just don't do anything, I gotta like be productive, I gotta go. And it's like taking time this week to really realize where that negative self-talk is coming from and giving yourself grace and rest and liberatory rest. And the card that came up was Enkelanda. And the message that she has is everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love. So everything that is happening for you right now is for your best and highest good and for your liberation. And also Kuan Yin came through as well with the message. She's a goddess of compassion, like when we were talking about earlier, about having compassion for yourself during this time. She says, I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. So where can you get curious and compassionate and judge yourself a little bit less for the rest that you need this week?
Very, 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 very true. And it's kind of like comes and dovetails perfectly off of what I was saying too, about kind of like, allow yourself to find that resonance at home with yourself and build that self-compassion, that self-healing energy right now, and be very aware this week of those coming at you from different angles, because, there's, there's that airiness, that Aries energy that's floating around that's very kind of chaotic in a sense. And so we definitely want to make sure that we are mindful of this and that we are driving the show. And, and a lot of you guys in the room who are very empathetic tend to get wrapped up in other people's problems, okay? And, always ask yourself, who's sticking around for your problems? Who's actually around for your needs? Who's paying attention to what your needs are? And so, if you're saying, well, no one is, well, then you need to reserve a lot of that time for yourself. Very simple, stupidly simple, right? Nothing overly complicated. Which leads into the perfect topic right now, which is, breaking psychic bonds. I think that's a very kind of nice segue. Sydney, good to see you. You say you're getting some dinner? I think you said some dinner will be back in May. Cool. Good to see you. We'll see you soon. But breaking psychic bonds. Anytime we have a relationship with somebody, we do form a psychic connection with them. Once you actually have some intermingling with somebody, on a relationship level, whether it be a friendship or someone that you date, that you immerse yourself with, there's a psychic bond that gets created between the two of you. And that's not a bad thing. It just means there's an open port of communication psychically and energetically with that person. And so a lot of times we dive deep with those connections when they're romantic or, type of, relationship, oriented in that sense that are sexual, all those like really deep rooted, connections form those psychic bonds. But you need to be aware of that psychic bond, because that is a constant active stream of communication that's going in the subconscious and in the spiritual sense. You could pick up on their energy. They could pick up on your energy. If they're feeling anxiety, you can feel that anxiety too, vice versa. People who have negative intentions can send you what we call like a psychic warfare. They can actually put negative intentions towards you, and things will happen when you're open to that. So it's very important for you guys to understand that those psychic connections exist to all those people that mean something in your life, good and bad. Even those that you have really bad, treacherous dynamics with, and say family members you have treacherous relationships with, there's psychic connections that are established there. And so you want to make sure that you are closing down those connections or not allowing yourself to receive information from these connections. And you need to be aware that you're not sending anything as well. Because the more you send to someone, you're keeping that connection established too, which means that even if you're conscious of that, you're still kind of fighting the energy, you're fighting the information. So you have to psychically and consciously Shut down those connections for those that are being psychic vampires, who are, sending you psychic warfare. Again, the psychic warfare energy is someone who has negative intentions towards you. Okay. And so by cutting communication and ceasing physical communication is the first way you start the psychic connection too, and the psychic bond, in a sense. You break that bond. But you break that bond by realizing how that individual doesn't serve you any longer. You also have to make the realization and take the lesson that says, this person doesn't serve me any longer. They are a complete dichotomy to where I want to be and what I stand for. Okay. And so it's important for you to understand that perspective when it comes to your relationship, so you can actually pull away and disconnect and understand how they do not provide any value for you. And when you make that realization, guess what happens? You'll allow yourself to disconnect from them psychically and to not have any relevance to what they feel, what they think, what they're not thinking. That wouldn't matter to you. That's how you break that bond, by not allowing to have its power. Not considering the energy is a way you break that power. So a lot of people in relationships, they have someone they're dating, they're connected to, and the other person is not really giving them that much of attention, right? They're maybe not calling, and so the other person's feeling anxiety because they're feeling the other person is withholding energy from them. So they constantly feel anxiety. They don't know why. And there's a lot of people that will play mental games and manipulate the mind to where they're purposely, deliberately not reaching out to the person and withholding communication. And so the other person will start feeling that anxiety because they feel like they're being deprived. So we can pick up on all that. And so the question is, when you start feeling that energy, feeling those resonance from someone, is it worth sticking around? Is it really worth reading that energy all the time, or even connecting with that? And that's why, excuse me, that's why you have to make the realization to say, this is not worth it. This energy feed is not satisfying me, or is it benefiting me? So I'm cutting it out. I'm cutting it. Because, a lot of times people say, oh, but maybe they'll change and, maybe they'll turn around. It's like, then you're just allowing that connection to be even more established. And by giving them benefit, by giving them that consideration, you're giving them energy, which is going to exhaust you, literally. Well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this, and all this consideration, you're just feeding them energy psychically. Then you're drained. Then you have more anxiety because you're giving your power away. That's the results of that. So nobody in this world is that important to suck you dry. People who love and care about you don't want to suck you dry. They want you to preserve your energy. So nobody is worth that amount of, exhausting your energy output. And like I said before, if people are doing so and wanting more from you, they don't care for you. They don't have your best interests at stake. Okay. And I think this is an important message, especially for the week ahead, about people coming at you from different directions, draining. It's important to have this message as a reminder because of what's going to be unfolding this week with people kind of bombarding you in a sense, and paying attention to people's intentions and interests and the sincerities. Right. So right now is a really good time to shut down these psychic connections. And, it sounds bigger than what it is. Oh, psychic connection. I'm not psychic. Can I do that? So it sounds more than what it is. It's just saying you have an energetic connection and a feed with somebody you want to sever and cut down. You'll never break away the connection to the experience because that's what allowed you to evolve. But the active line of communication you want to cut and sever because you don't need a constant energy feed going back and forth between all these different people. And a lot of you guys have subconscious connections to people of your past that you're still feeding and reading, which is why a lot of people from the past start showing up out of the blue because you have active connections still. Okay. So that could be very exhausting, very draining, and also inhibit you from experiencing better relationships. Because the subconscious thinks this is unresolved. It could potentially get resolved. So I'm keeping that on the back burner in a sense, thus eliminating you from all other possibilities when it comes to relationships. So you need to start looking at what psychic connections and bonds do I still have active in my life with certain people. And those people come to mind when you ask that question. And you'll say, I'm closing that down. I don't need to pick up on that energy any longer. Because what happens is, if the subconscious is over encumbered with connections, it won't make new ones. And you'll push them away. I don't have the space. I don't know. They're cool people, but I don't know. I don't feel like I really want to move forward with them because you're encumbered too much with all these these active connections subconsciously and psychically. So now it's time to do a psychic clearance and start breaking down and pulling all those connections and lines of communication, energetic communications from these people. It's time to unplug them all and allow yourself to be free from any type of feeds. Even people that you love right now, turn off those connections when you're not with them. You don't need to be feeling what they're going through when you're not with them. Okay. And so, you want to make sure you're turning that on and off like a light switch, and make sure you're preserving your energy feed. A lot of you guys are very empathetic and intuitive, and so you're allowing that to come through all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. It's just constant data, constant information, and when they're thinking something about you, you're getting that too. If someone's worrying about you, you're getting all that worry, more worry, more worry, and especially if you're in a state of worry and someone's worried about you, you're getting more worry. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that the influence that these connections have, and how they are affecting your day to day to day to day to day to day, and so forth and so forth. And a lot of you guys wonder, why am I not meeting anybody? Why am I feeling so, tired? Why do I feel drained? That's one of them. Your psychic bonds that you got. It's important to understand this because, in a sense, spiritually speaking, we are all connected. So, but in the physical sense, the separation is an illusion, but we still have to play the game of separation or to really establish our boundaries and establish our voice and perspective in this life, in this physical awareness. Otherwise, you'll be just a continuous void of energy and just a dumping ground for people's energy. A doormat, per se. Does that sound great? Nah, that doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good to me, right? So do that this week. And start asking yourself, get into an intentional meditation. Ask yourself, what open connections do I still have with people that I need to close down? Boop, they'll come up. They'll come in your mind's eye. And a lot of you guys are getting that information now as I say this. The names are coming up in your head. Shut them down. And you say, I don't need any connection with them. You affirm, I do not need connection with this individual. I don't need the feed. I don't need to feel them. They don't need to feel me. I have no interest in this communication line. We're closing it. We're shutting it down. So, there's so many different rituals you can do to get your mind on board. You can affirm it. You can do the cord cutting technique, but one thing you're not going to disconnect from is the experience that you had with them. You always want to carry the experience that you've had with these people because they're part of your learning curve. So a lot of times people want to disconnect from them. It's like, no, you're cutting the communication feed down. The experience with them will always remain. And that's important because that's how we thrive. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. So you're just shutting down the communication, the psychic communication, which, are very much psychic bonds. You guys are bound to a lot of people in your lives that just need to go now, especially if it's a mom. If it's a mom that's very draining, and a lot of you guys have mother energies right now. I'm picking up in the room. Whoever's watching this needs to hear this is about a mother energy that's really very overbearing. And it's the communication may be, minimal, but you still feel that feed from her. And you got to shut down that feed and say, I'm not interested in that feed any longer. I'm not interested in that overbearing approach, that dismissive energy. I'm not interested in that. So I'm shutting that down, even if she's still in your life. And just by recognizing that, their perspective is not relevant for you. It's just that simple realization. Cutting it down is very simple. It's just a simple realization of how it's encumbering you and how it's distorting your own perception in your life. So it's very important to understand this, and I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm like, there's all these spiritual communities diving into the quantum physics and the structure of reality. And that's all fun. And I did that for many years too. And I watched this one video how they're making this overcomplicated explanation that waves and energy is curved and not straight. I'm like, okay, yeah. So an energy would be curved and things would be curved in nature because it's movement. Movement is waves, right? So why are they taking so much time to put this intellect into this, that's spiritual, this world is waved and curved? I'm like, why are we talking about all the mechanics of reality instead of talking about the mechanics of the soul and the mechanics of the mind so we know what the hell's going on? We need to be talking about psychic bonds and breaking them. We need to be talking about our intuition. We need to be talking about the evolution of the soul and our species. We need to be talking about that. So I feel like even in the spiritual communities, we're so distracted of looking where we need to look, that we think we're spiritual because we understand the quantum mechanics of things. Okay, it's great, but that's not a spiritual evolution, realization. We don't need to know how gravity works to enjoy gravity. It's not going to enlighten us anymore to change us how we're utilizing gravity, in a sense, just because the mechanics behind gravity. So the spiritual communities are lost. They're not talking about the psychic bonds, the psychic connections, the residue that we got to clear constantly, and how powerful we are at connecting, actually. We are powerful souls that are able to connect very easily. And not just to people, to ideas, to physical objects. People connect very easily to things. That is a great power that we have, but also a very huge deficit to us. So we need to understand the double-edged sword when it comes to that, when it comes to being able to connect. and understand that can work very much to our favor, but also be a great disservice to us. Because if we do keep connecting with things that are not in favor to us, we'll shut down and stop connecting. And then we also sabotage our lives because of poor connections or inactive connections that are still lingering in a sense, or residue from past connections or active psychic connections that need to be broken. Okay, so it's time now for this week. I think it's a good week to do this, to clear out a lot of these, break these psychic bonds. You all know who they are. You all know where they're coming from. And when you continuously talk about someone, you're still creating a psychic connection to them. When you continuously allow yourself to talk about that old story, you're now allowing yourself to connect into their feed. Even if they don't care about what your feed is doing, even if they don't care about what your energy is doing or not pulling from your energy, you're connecting into their feed. That's why gossip is a huge no-no, because you're actually tapping into those different feeds of people that you're gossiping about. Unless you're clever enough to know how to turn on and shut it down, which a lot of people are not. That's one thing, but a lot of people are not that way. We have to learn that ability and understand what we're doing when we're tapping into people and connecting with people or thinking about people from the past. It's very important. And I see so many people being, held back because of past connections. And, I think this is funny. This card came out last week. The Magician card just kind of just fell out. Very much all about you guys are, the creators of your own world. And I want to add that to this, that you are creating your connections, you're sabotaging your connections, you're disconnecting, you're creating all this. You have to remind yourself of this. And so the reason why I'm saying this is because understand that power of creation and to what level that actually lies. That's funny that comes up because with the collective read is all about the creative mind. So when you have to understand what it really means that you're creating everything. We hear it's so cliche in the spiritual communities. You're creator. You're creating reality. Duh, yeah, we get it. But what does that really mean? What does it mean to have that power? You have to use that. You have to be very conscious of how you're using your creative energy and what you are creating and the connections you're creating. Be very conscious of this. Be very aware of this. Because a lot of you guys have all these open connections in your lives and it's not doing any good. And sometimes you get thoughts from those connections. You don't know where the thoughts are coming from. Be very clear on that because, this week is going to be one of those kind of weeks where people are going to start bombarding you all. And it's going to be kind of that, almost feeling suffocated unless you cleared out your shit and you set the boundaries and that tone. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay, let's get to the readings and see who's done. It's going to be a short night tonight. And let's see what we have. Reading Wise. Hope that makes sense for you all. I was trying to keep it simple. I didn't want to go too philosophical, but I just want to make a simple point tonight. And I think I've been trying to keep things simple the past couple weeks without going overly philosophical, because I think a lot of spiritual communities are just being philosophical just for the sake of being philosophical. And everyone's just thinking about structure of things and the structure, but not actually what needs to be done. And how to think properly and maneuver through your circumstances intellectually. And so, okay, we have a card pull for, actually first is Deanna. We're doing card pull for Deanna. Let's see what's going on with that. Deanna, are you in the room? Will the real Deanna please stand up? All right, this is for Deanna. And each card pull will lead me to a discussion for everybody in the room too. I'll take a specific reading. This way we all feel included with the reading too. I'll take the card pull, do a reading, and we'll create some sort of a message for the room as well. This energy the past week is making me stumble upon my words. So I feel like I just want to shut up sometimes, not say anything. Okay. Will the read Deanna please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Look at these cards. They will not close. Okay. I'm trying to do this. We're live, so we can't skip this part. Maybe sometime in the future we'll have live editing. We could teleport time. Wouldn't that be funny? Okay. Okay. Okay, this is for this week, Deanna, and I think when we do card pulls, I'll do it for you guys this week, unless they want me to go into the future, more so and overall. But in this case, they're saying this is more about the week. And so, You know, it's funny, Deanna, they're saying that you feel bombarded emotionally about a lot of things. I think the last segment I just was speaking about is for you primarily, Deanna, because I feel like a lot of past circumstances have been resurfacing and coming at you from all different angles right now. Not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. And they're saying that, you're going through a transformation. You might have paused in the transformation a little bit, and you're kind of like looking around saying, okay, what do I do? I feel alone in this. I know where I need to go, but I still feel alone. Like I'm doing this alone, and I'm going to be moving forward alone. And there's like a lot of uncertain energy around me. And so, the one thing that is certain to me is how I feel strained. So, but I don't know what it's like to be outside of that strain. So, this is kind of like an emotional read for you this week. And they're saying that's not bad to have that contemplation. So what we were saying before about in the discussion about, breaking the bonds, that is for you, Deanna. That's for you, and I think a lot of that past is recirculating in your life, and it's almost like cultivating this different energy within you. It feels uncertain, but it should feel uncertain. It feels maybe a little wobbly, but it should feel a little wobbly right now, because once you are ready to walk through that door, you won't be looking back anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So it makes sense that you don't want to walk through that door yet if you haven't cleared this past and situated yourself, because you don't want to look back and and then come back through the door and go backwards again. You don't want to do that. So you are clearing your energy out. You are clearing your space out. You are saying, before I walk through that door, and I mean this figuratively, but also could be literally too. Before I walk through that door, I want to make sure it's all cleared out, because I don't want to look back anymore. I'm not looking backwards anymore. I'm done looking backwards. So they're saying, take this week to contemplate that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I think that you're feeling like you've gone backwards because of this. Like, no. Sometimes when you look backwards, it doesn't mean you're going backwards. It kind of means you're just looking backwards to say, I've come this far, and I don't need to bring all other shit with me. So looking back doesn't mean you're going backwards. It just means sometimes we have to check and look in our past. And so sometimes we look in our past, we can be more present and be like, this is where I'm at now. Oh, okay, I see everything I've endured up to this point. So being present is actually where I really want to be. So a lot of times the spiritual communities also say, don't think of your past. Don't just be present, be present, be present. It's like, yeah, the goal is that, but it's okay if you self-reflect on your past. It's okay if you reflect on the future. It's quite okay. That allows you to understand things in the present. Okay. So, but you definitely want to live in the present, but utilize the past and the future to kind of mold and shape where you're going. And so this is the week for the introspection, Deanna. And so it is an emotional read, but they're saying they want to say to you that, there's a reason for that. And it is to allow yourself to move forward and to jump forward. Okay. And one card just fell out here. So let's see what the significance of that is. Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords to me is saying, like, you feel like you're up against a lot, but especially with the picture too, if I kind of like look at the picture, she's faced against a lot, right? And she's got a wand in her back too, so she has the same power that was coming against her in a sense. But all she has to do is just walk around it. She doesn't have to go through it. She doesn't have to fight it. Just walk around. Just maneuver away from it. So that's what the message is for you this week. Is really kind of about going around it. You don't have to like fight against things, prove points. Just like there's nothing to prove anymore. Just walk around it. Okay. Just maneuver away from it. Okay. So that's very important. Well, it's tiresome, but what's being tired, my love, the thing that's creating the tired energy is that you're starting to realize what's been making you tired. Think about that. When you're introspecting and you're paying attention to the things that are in your life that are suffocating you, that's a source of depletion. So you're going to activate all that depletion and realize if you were to think about something that didn't have that effect on you, you'd be feeling great. If you think about kittens, I don't feel tired from that. I don't feel, so your introspection is showing you what is exhausting you and draining your energy. And so all those ideas, all those connections, they're saying this is what's been making you tired. This is what's been draining your energy. It's not the introspection that's doing it. It's the introspection that's revealing to you what's been draining your energy all along. Okay? So I think that if you see it that way, you'll start realizing everything that I'm thinking about is making me tired. That's what needs to go. Those thoughts, those people, the circumstance, whatever, it needs to go. And that's what you have to get rid of. Bada bing, bada boom, out the door. All right? All right, so let's move on to Allie. Card pull for Allie too. No one want to do live video? Like, what's with y'all? Y'all being like, hiding behind the scenes. I love the live interactions. Maybe the price too high. I don't know. I thought the price was decent, but maybe she's making less. Maybe you guys don't feel like being on camera. So I'm shuffling these cards. These cards are just ish. High Priestess card is really the one. If you guys can see my High Priestess card, this is what you all did to it. Y'all did this to the High Priestess card because y'all ain't following your intuition, and so this comes out for a lot of spiritual people and those with abilities, and so it's been so disastrous because many people have not been listening to it. So, and this is a new deck for me. So, yeah, it'd be cool, Deanna, to join you live. I just like connecting with people. Sometimes these reads are just so impersonal. You know, I'm just talking to myself. I just see my face on the screen. It's like, ugh, I live with myself enough. I have to hear myself talk all day. I want to hear somebody else speak and connect with people. You know, like in a session. So, thanks, Celeste. Thank you. But guys, especially from these reads, like, you know, connect yourself with these reads because there's a lot of information for you guys too in this, you know, in these reads. That's why it's great doing live because you guys can connect with the story, but also like it can either show to you how much you've progressed or show to you, you know, what you need to be aware of and also show to you how much you've grown, you know? So, all right, we're still pulling for Allie and I think we're ready, Spirit. Interesting. You know, it's funny, Allie. It's just the legal thing again. Let's just bring up the legal thing. Knight of Cups. Did that charming person come in? Because I have to say, Allie, the past 3 weeks you've been getting the Knight of Cups. That's my charming, you know, legal advisor, right? And the Justice card came for you too in that retrospect. 3 Wands is like there's something new. There's a new journey. There's something more beyond what's going to be taking place in the next few months. Okay. So I think that's where you really want to find a lot of that, I would say, realization right now and looking ahead. And I think a lot of this is saying to like, you know, right now it is about being home. You know, it's not time to like jump around yet and, you know, settle in your home space. It's funny because this is very much, again, what I was saying in the collective read in the beginning, but keep your home life. Understand the sanctuary at home that you're experiencing right now, because, you know, I think that there's a lot that's going to be taking off in the legal space for you. Right. Especially if this man has not come in yet. He's coming in because he's been, this fellow has been shown in the past 3 reads of yours, Allie. So it's just like things take time, you know. Of course, when we check up on things week to week, there may not be much progression because it's only been a week, right? And so sometimes it takes a couple months for things to happen as well. And so good night, Erica. Good to see you. Good for stopping by, and have a wonderful night's sleep, Erica. Good night to you. So they're saying like, don't feel bad that you feel like you're just wanting to be home. You need to be right now, just to kind of nest right now, nest. Yeah, well, there you go. Because you're not supposed to. But they're saying there's things on the horizon that's kind of working out for you. You know what I'm saying? There's things on the horizon with the legal matter that's going to be working out. And it's kind of in a couple month or so, like in a few months or so, I feel that you'll start seeing that progression. This legal person should be coming in within this time frame. So he's still showing up in your reads every week for you in this sense. So that's good. So I think, again, it's a good sign that things are moving forward. But they just want to give you a simple reminder. Don't process too much. Just stay at home, nest a little bit right now, relax. You know, that's kind of a very simple message for you. And again, you know, the High Priestess cards fell out. Just use your intuition. Focus on increasing your intuitive energy and your intuitive perspective. Okay. That's kind of the simple message. And maybe that's the whole point. You got to keep it simple. Maybe even overcomplicating things a little bit. And so Spirit's like, you know what? Make this a little simple. Keep this light. You know, nest a little bit, right? So that's kind of the message there with that. Okay. I want to see more than card pulls, guys. I want some questions. The card pulls, I appreciate it, but they're just mundane and monotonous. Because I want more of a question, but this is for Rashida, card pull. Maybe I will make... I think at some point I might remove the card pull and do like 1 question, 2 question, but keep, you know, we do the pricings differently. I'll do $50 for 1 question in a sense, because card pulls get so mundane. I like to just tap and use my abilities and answer questions. Again, these cards are just having an issue today. So this is for Rashida, card pull. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Yes, I'm hoping that those latter ones had questions. No, it's all good. I might change the format around. Like I might do, instead of doing like a card pull, like maybe I'll just do 1 with question or something. I'm gonna do something different to make it that way, because I get you guys just want like a simple message and stuff, but I tend to like do a full read on it. I'm gonna maybe mix it up a bit to make it more fun, you know, the next time. And maybe next time I'll do like a random, very random like video session with somebody or whatever. Okay. Because I like seeing more faces on the screen. Okay, this is for Rashida. Let's see what it's saying here. Financial year. I wonder who. Interesting. Let me pull this one I have to sit on for a second and read this a little bit more. Because when there's a reverse King of Wands and the Emperor in reversed, new beginnings. I think it's more specific about a situation. I feel that there's some sort of restructuring going on in the work environment. That's always Emperor in reverse to me. Like there's something that's restructuring or something unorthodox, but it feels like restructuring to me. I feel like someone's going to be dethroned. I don't know if there's someone in a high position in your job that's going to be on the way out. And I feel like this really benefits you. This is very much for the year too, because, you know, Queen of Pentacles is really kind of like, you're going to have a lot more of a financial increase this year. So this is more for the year. And I feel like whatever this position or person that loses position or moves position, like gives you a new start or gives you a different perspective or a different position. No, honey, it's not you. It's someone in control or in charge, something like that. I feel like someone at your work is going to be exposed for something. Maybe it's higher ups, or maybe, you know, someone related to where you're at, which gives you a new opportunity in a sense. So there might be a new opportunity come to you, or a new position in a sense, you know, because of this. And the Emperor in reverse says there's just something that's not so. It feels like it's breaking a pattern, you know, with your work. So maybe this person leaving, or this person who gets called out, breaks a pattern at work in a sense, and, you know, you get this new opportunity coming from this. And that's kind of jumpstarts your road to, I would say, more financial prosperity. Like, you know, so it's like, this is not going to be a year of love. And I think we've talked about this before. I think you did a live last week, and it's not a year of love, but it's definitely a year of career and financial advancement. So it's almost like through someone's downfall, it's going to benefit you somehow, you know, moving ahead in the next few months. So, so it's interesting, the changes that I see. And almost when the Fool card comes, it's like a new opportunity, new beginning. So to me, it's saying it's like a new position for you unfolds through this. All right. So that seems pretty good. And it might be also an increase in pay somehow, you know, with the Queen of Pentacles. So that changed. The time frame on this for me feels about like a couple months on this. You know, I know I've been doing a lot. I'll let you know if it's a week read or a month read or a year read. This feels like a couple months in a sense with that. So we like that, and we like money, right? We like more pay. That's good. Okay. Carrie Johnson. What can I do to get my court case closed? I mean, there's a lot you have to do for that. It's a really weird question to me. I'm just going to let you know what I hear with this question because it's just so vague, and I'm like, get a court case closed. Like, it's a court case, so there has to be some sort of neutrality to a certain degree. I just heard better mitigation. So maybe you don't have the best financial counsel right now. Maybe you need better counsel. I definitely don't feel like and you're having the best advisory in a sense. Or they're not thinking outside the box. So I feel like you need better influence for me. I think that's the issue of why this is prolonging for me. I don't know specifically the case, so I don't know how to articulate this, but to me it just feels like that's the energy. Is that, there just seems to be like a hold up on the advisory and legal counsel that you have, that there needs to be a better legal counsel. They're saying you're not looking at something, like you're completely missing something too here. I don't know how to articulate that because I'm not God. Can't say, oh, your court case surrounds this, so this, so it's hard to say like, oh, do all this without knowing the specifics. But I can definitely read you're missing something, and you're overlooking something that's preventing the circumstance from being, I would say, completed. I don't want to say like closed, but completed in a sense. But I also feel like you're not, the council is missing things. So for me, if you had people that were looking outside the box and actually looking at what isn't being looked at right now, that will help things to get closed and things to, to finalize. But it feels like you're missing something, and you don't have the best counsel that's assisting on that, is what it feels like to me. So, so you might want to like be conscious of that. Okay. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else you want to throw at me on that, but it's just advice. Yeah, it's just advice, Carrie. It's just the advice. Because I'm like, the logistics, everything else seems like it's like, well, that's fine. It's just that. You know what I mean? I was just about to say, I hope that makes sense. And then, okay. Because I'm like, I hope it makes sense in my mind. So I was about to say that, and I saw that. So that's good. That's cool. But let me read that though too, because it's almost like you're taking control, but like you shouldn't have to take. Like, I get an energy that you're trying to take control, but like you shouldn't have to if you have counsel that should do that. So I get like, you're like, do I have to do this myself energy? It's like, you might have to like look beyond certain things and look beyond, the outside what's the parameters right now to get it, to understand what's going to lock this in and what's going to really, nip this in the butt, so to speak. So, yeah, because I definitely feel frustration. Like, oh my God, can we just fucking, like, can I just do this myself? And it's like, you should, and I'm like, I feel the frustration of, you shouldn't have to, okay. Yeah, we can do it if we didn't do it last time. Just send it to okay, let's see. So specific for me, spirit, anything specifically clips coming up. Hated to miss Christopher. Okay. I believe, did we do Sarah Jimmy? Did we get on him last week? Or did we find so okay. All right, Sarah, that's fine. Anything specifics for spirit from you? Anything specific about these eclipses coming up? This is for Sarah. Yeah, and hated to miss Christopher. Okay. Did we miss you? I thought I went through all of them. It was such a chaos last week. Trying to manage Christopher on the show and then manage everything else coming through, and it was like, ugh. So, okay, and this is for Sarah. Let's see about, for you in regards to these eclipses, Sarah. Let's see. Yeah, we got you, Sarah. I'm on you now. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, and next time if it won't happen again, by the way. But if it does, just like send me a message on Venmo or something. So, okay, Sarah. Let me see. Anything for you specifically? Eclipses. I don't think it's going to affect you much. Almost like we'll primarily look at the April 8th one too. Oof. I would advise this: get the mother energy in order. Okay. I don't know why I feel like the eclipse will exacerbate a connection with your mom for some reason. So I don't know if there's any unresolved with your mom in that sense. They're saying communication will be challenging. Communication will be challenging for primarily April 8th eclipse in that sense for you. But for some reason, the mother energy comes in my face with that. So just make sure that you're being clear in communication. Make sure that you are actually not allowing people to over communicate to you. Don't allow people to over explain. So that makes sense, love. So that might come up for you in the eclipse. The tension with your mom energy, that energy. So you might have to resolve that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm not saying that to talk to her. It's just you might have to purge that type of festering energy. You know what I mean? No, it's really much about the energy, the festering energy as regard to your mom. You know what I'm saying? Because I still feel like it's festering within you. And I think that at the same time, that might cause some, communication problems with people, you being very hasty in communication, and making you very impatient. In a sense, almost like bringing on your mom's energy, right? So make sure subconsciously you have that squared away. It's kind of what I was saying at the beginning about psychic bonds, Kristen, right? Kristen, I'm saying Benjamin, but I know it's not Benjamin. You have to sever the psychic bond with your mom. That's what I'm saying. Sarah, sorry, Sarah. So yes, I think that you got to do that work on this because I still feel a pressure from it. I still feel like somehow every now and then she might come in. Yeah, I know, Sarah. I get it. Sorry about that. I'm reading so many different things at once, so I apologize. But I feel like she's like in your ears still, like subconsciously. You know what I mean? And just like purging that connection. Because I feel like, but with the eclipse, it's going to screw up your communication. I feel like whenever your mom's energy starts kind of like being like festering in subconscious within you, you shut down, you become impatient, and people start like really kind of irritating you. So I think when you purge her energy, that irritation, that impatience will go away. I think a lot of your impatience comes from her, actually. So yeah, so be careful with the communication on that, purge that energy. But that's really all I really find, right? But to answer your question about all the older women in your life, I just feel like that's just a duplication of the mom energy. So I think that once you kind of solve and resolve the psychic bond with mom and clear that out, I don't think that you'll have that continuation of an issue. Because what we do when we have an unresolved in the subconscious, our brain will keep recreating it, and keep doing that. So it's all good, Michelle. A lot of people have been tired today. It's been a very quiet night, so we understand. You're quite fine. It's good to see you, Michelle. I appreciate you showing up. Nina, if you can get Kristen's, we're going to do Sydney now, but text me or get Kristen Valero's question. I trust, I'm not going to cross-check. I trust that she's being honest about it. So get the question from her and then we'll do that. Okay, mine. And let's get to, all right, Sydney. See, for me, the energy feels like very like light for me. Like it's been heavy, but it feels kind of clear, like quiet, silent, like eerily quiet. So it's like it's heavy energy, but it's eerily quiet for some reason. So something's about to go. Something's going to do it. Okay, so let's get Sydney here. And we also have Celeste, which would be great to read with her. I love that. And then Tom will be following. So just giving you a little bit of what's in queue. So we're going to do Sydney now, and then we're going to do Celeste, and then we have Tom right after that. Okay, so just keep you guys in tune to the queue. All right, Sydney, let me get you the link here. Actually, Sydney, I'm gonna put it in a group chat. I trust people aren't gonna be buzzing. I'll just decline it anyways. If you can copy that link, I put Sydney, but just copy the HTTPS and put that in your browser, Sydney. Okay. And then I'm gonna get to Tom's card pull. Or excuse me, Christy's card pull while we're waiting for you to chime in and call in. Okay, Sydney. So that's just copy the link outside of this the Sydney bracket, the HTTPS, and put that in your browser, and then what you want. But I'm going to do this card pull for Christy right now while we're waiting. Multitask. Bear with me a second, Sydney. I'll be right there, right with you. I'm just going to do this card pull really quick. All right. Oh, these cards. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, there's a Mr. Witecki in the room. It's been a weird, like, heavy, quiet energy, but, like, it's been eerie for me. Like, heavy, but, like, something's lurking energy is what I've been feeling like. Something's lurking. So I'm kind of, like, suspicious and looking around. So, yeah. And maybe Christopher can chime in on the planetary alignments to let us know what the hell's going on with that. So you can chime in the chat. All right, this is for Christy, and I'll be with you right in a moment, Sydney. Okay. Just emotional read for Christy. Christy, you're not using your intuition. Okay, so that's always in the reverse. So you're not use your intuition about an endeavor. I am feeling like there is a trip or some travel that you'll be doing this year. You might be on the fence about this, or whether or not it'll work in your favor. They're saying just take the trip, allow yourself to explore and take that travel, because I feel like there will be a lot of that going on this year, or at least the idea of doing that this year, of traveling or taking that trip. They're saying to do so. But I'm getting a lot of other things too. Like, I don't know if there's going to be some sort of legal obligation that you're going to be faced with this year too. So I'm getting a lot for a card pull, to be honest with you. So just bear with me on this and keep this in mind. So one, there's things using intuition. Feel out what you're feeling this year. If there's that trip that's going, follow your intuition on taking this trip, okay? And there is going to be some sort of legal situation. It feels minor that will work in your favor. Because, the Judgment card comes up. It can be so many different things. However, it feels like the Judgment card to me is really saying about some sort of a legal decision in your favor. So they kind of want you to know this ahead of time so you don't panic, that you understand it'll work in your favor. Everything will work out fine, and so forth. So whether or not to take that trip or not that I'm feeling, or that vacation, or, I get a very neutral energy, So when it comes to your perspective of saying, should I take this trip? Should I not take this trip? Just use your intuition on that. I'm not getting a bad vibe either way on that either. But and I think that you have to pay attention to communication with a lover right now too. Let me see really quickly with this, before I get Sydney. Yeah, make sure you're keeping your communication with your lover clear. Some you're dating or someone close to you, I just feel like there might be some communication gaps there. That you just have to make sure you're not allowing yourself to just get general information. If you ask a question, you want to make sure that you're getting, someone's being clear and transparent with you. Make sure you're getting transparency the same when it comes to your romantic life, or someone you're dating or seeing at the moment. Just feels very like a romantic energy. That make sure they're being transparent. Don't settle on the lack of transparency. Not to be, again, give you any type of indication that they're doing anything wrong, but I just like I was saying with the previous, person I was reading about, making sure the communication's on point, because that can start spiraling into problems if not. And so it's kind of a lot in one card pull, I have to say. I don't know why they want to get that. So again, using your intuition, you're not using your intuition on a circumstance right now. And taking that trip sometime this year, there'll be some sort of vacation trip you'll take this year. Use your intuition on when to take that and the timing of such, and whatever legal circumstance unfolds this year at some time, it will work in your favor. I feel legal judgments or legal results in your favor. All right, Sydney, where'd you go? Call back in, Sydney. Where'd you go? I know I had to wait because I had to get that. So, Sydney, click this link again. Sydney. Get you on now. And then we'll have Celeste join too. I'm doing it in the chat because, Yeah, so there you go. There she is. Okay, let's get you on here. Bear with me un momento. Okay, can we hear Sydney here?
Can you hear
What's
me
going
now?
on?
Okay.
There she is. Why am I gone? It put you on, and I was like, it did this last time. Now we got to flip you around. Let's add you to the left. Okay.
I love this technology stuff. It's fun.
Add you to the right there. So, let me just maneuver this because there's also like a delay. I'm trying to put you to the right. I'm trying to click add because now it looks like you're hosting me. There we go. Now we're back on my show.
One day, maybe.
One day, yeah.
One day, yeah.
So what's your question, my love? Good to see you, by the way.
It's good to see you too. This is fun. I was just thinking like vibe check, but I also have a question about sleep.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything specific too that's creating the sleeping deficiency. Yeah, I feel like it just feels unsettled to me. Of course, right? That's usually what happens when someone is like not sleeping. So I don't feel like it's anything specific, like a trauma or something like that. It just feels like I think you've piled on all these different boxes of things and ideas and circumstances and future travel. And I just feel like you're kind of just very anxious about a lot of things. So it's very simple in a sense. Maybe make sure that you're kind of like putting things in the future and not really necessarily having to worry about that. Let me go a little deeper on it too, because it's just I hate vagueness and generalities, but sometimes it is that simple. Is there anything deeper that's creating this change, spirit, or this sleep deficiency? They're saying you're not hearing spirit though. They're saying like your guides are trying to get through to you. They're trying to give you an information. They're trying to give you some sort of clarity right now, but you're not hearing it. And I think that's a lot of also this restless energy that's going on too. What's up with your dad?
I don't know. What is up with my dad? He passed away in 2021.
Oh, then I think your dad's trying to get through to you then. Because when I was saying about spirit trying to get through to you, your dad might be trying to get through to you, and you're not like hearing that. So let me see if I get your dad right now. Because that's a lot of your dad is like, I think your dad's saying he's trying to come to you in your dream state. He's trying to like come through visually in your dream state too. He's very audible to me, and he's kind of funny. I don't know why he like blows a horn like a. So I don't know if he's like trying to really get your attention. I don't know what that means, but your dad is really trying to link with you.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let me. I wasn't preparing for that yet either. But is there anything with your passing dad you want to talk to your daughter about? Really? Okay, I think there's a lot of things with your dad's passing that was, maybe unbeknownst to certain people. There's speculations of like, was it hard? Was it rest? Like, there's a lot of different speculations of what really caused his passing. I feel like, even though there's a specific, I would say, result of this, but he's shown there was like heart and respiratory issues that were going on for quite some time. But then he's showing something like pushing that in gear. I don't know if he's saying that if people speculated whether or not a injection or medication caused a lot of this, he's saying there was some sort of push with a medication or injection that kind of put his respiratory issues into full effect in a sense. Because then he's saying toward the end he felt suffocated. There's a lot of suffocation. He couldn't breathe. You know what I'm saying? And so even with assisted devices. And he's also saying a lot of people were scrambling, like kind of like maybe because there was like something that happened. Everyone was scrambling, like it was an essence of time. He's saying, and he kind of makes a joke. He's like, "I loved it though. Everybody was focusing on me, and so your dad's being silly about this." Okay, so I'm like, "Dad, bad time for humor," but he's saying he's not taking it seriously right now. His passing is not something that he's waited on. He's like, he understands that even if there was something that created the respiratory issues that I would say pushed it further, he's like, I still wasn't being the best with taking care of his health in a sense of taking up on it, he's saying. So he's like, it's kind of my fault. It's kind of my responsibility. And I really appreciate everyone who was like showing care and concern. Even nurses, he was saying, that were really caring about your dad, caring for your dad. He was saying they all kind of cared for your dad in that sense too, because your dad feels very charming to me in that sense. Like people would fall in love with him, you know? So he's just saying, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate having.
Leo.
What's that?
He's what is a 29-degree Leo.
Oh, that makes sense. Loves the attention. Charmer, huh? So, yeah. So he just wants to know, he's trying to get through to you. Okay. Do you have any like special cups from him or something? Could you show me like cups or mugs or something? Do you know what that means?
That is so specific. Yes, he made me some coffee mugs that said things like "Someone from Louisiana loves you."
Yeah. Because he's saying, you still have those and such. Because he's just saying he's like just wants to make that connection with you and like kind of give you a little bit of wink about that. But he's like he's going to be showing up in your dreams, my love. He's going to be showing up in your, very visual and audible. So you might even hear him, hey, you. So pay attention to that. And that horn reference is really interesting to me. So you might even hear like a faint horn. That's your dad like knocking on your door. He's saying he's giving you a black feather. So you'll see a black feather reference with him too, as well. Yeah, there's some significance of a black feather. As well, that will be a manifestation of a spirit, so that you might see it tomorrow after the session, as well.
I have major chills.
Is anyone having a baby or a new baby around in the family at all?
I mean, not that I know of.
He's saying that. I'm trying to think of where it's going. He's pulling me on this. It feels like a new project versus a child. So someone's like has a baby that's a project in the family, and he's like celebrating this. It's like it's their baby. Someone even might be specifically saying, "This is my baby. This project." It feels like someone in the family to me that he's celebrating. So maybe take a couple seconds after session to think about it'll come to you, because he's celebrating this project, this new baby that someone is working on. And it's in the family. It's not you, but it's in the family. And wants to acknowledge this. Anything else, Pops, you want to give? Do you have any questions for your dad, by the way?
Dad, I love you and I miss you, and I don't have any questions. Like,
he loves you. He wanted to like.
I wish you were here because I wish I could call you sometimes, but it's good to know you want to connect, because I do too. And yeah, bring it on. Maybe I'll be able to sleep better.
Well, I mean, he's like, just pick up the freaking phone, he says. Because he's been calling you telepathically and psychically. Because that's why you're not sleeping. He's trying to get through to you. And you're the least resistant. We're all the least resistant when we sleep, right? So that's when the spirit really wants to kind of come through in a sense in your dream space. And so just be conscious of that, he's saying.
I'll send an intention before I go to sleep.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing to do. Let me see if there's an element he connects with the most. He likes cedar wood. So if you get some cedarwood energy or scent or oil, that could be a great way for him to harness his energy. He loves cedarwood smell.
Okay.
And someone's.
I miss you.
He loves you, love. Any questions for me?
Talking about him tonight. Do I have any questions?
Oh, you were talking about him tonight? Well, that makes sense why he'd come through then.
Yeah, I was talking about him tonight when I went to dinner. And your read about his health and everything was like totally spot on. So.
Well, it's him telling me, so that's your dad. So your dad's spot on. I don't take credit for that. But do you have any questions for me besides your dad? Because your dad just kind of came in randomly. He just came in and he kind of did a cameo. Yeah, but he bombed it.
Yeah. Well, last week, I mean, you mentioned there would be some like an emotional flush. I think that was the term that was used, and this is something that's really good and it feels really good with the eclipse. Is there anything else that you want to share with me about that? Like any details or anything? I'm heading to the beach with my kids on Sunday. We'll be there until Friday just to try to cleanse and reset just the three of us. So I don't know if there's anything you want to share. The lunar eclipse was like heavy, but that's
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to overemphasize like this breakdown thing, right? I don't. It's not extreme. It's just like you're clearing. You're allowing yourself to find your way, right? If I want to be crass and to give you an analogy, it's probably just like letting that little bit of gas out that you've been holding on to a little bit. It just feels good. Like you just let that long silent fart out a little bit. So to be crass about it, so it sticks in your brain, you're just kind of slowly deflating these things. You're slowly breaking down these pressures and these stresses and these losses that you've had. You're slowly letting them break down and you're releasing them. That's the breakdown. So, breakdown doesn't mean that breakdown doesn't mean you have an emotional breakdown in that sense, but it really is a reconfiguring of you in a sense that you're going to be very much understanding how you really feel. And I think that what's going to be very much the pinnacle of that is that you're going to start really feeling that your true feelings. That's going to make you cry when you start really feeling your true empathy that you do have and the passions that you do have. That's going to make you cry, not the fact that you're going through any type of turmoil or sadness. It's the fact that you really feel, oh my God, this is my energy. This is my true soul. I am a very positive light. And so tapping into that source energy, but also identifying that as you is going to be that breakdown period. So it really is, you're slowly deflating all that crap, but then making that realization that's going to be something that's going to be very rewarding for you. So it's not like a bam, I hit the ground. I'm like going this. It's not that. It's just kind of redirection and realization is going to really occur during that time. So, yeah, and we could be more specific too. Like, I think you booked a session too for the future on that. We could be more specific on that too, if you did, and we get more specific on that. But I don't want you to be fearing this. Understand, it's really much more of a release in that sense. But it really is a breaking down of idea and previous emotions, and understanding where your true essence really is. That's going to be the catalyst. That's going to push you forward. Yeah,
That feels really positive. So thank you for that. I know that I have a lot of like letting go to do. I can be uptight and I don't want to be that way anymore. I don't feel that way in my spirit, and I think it's just like the caboose that needs to go. And I got shown that very clearly recently, and it was like a oh fuck moment. So I think this is like totally in alignment. This is amazing news.
Well, they're also saying too, like, stop trying to micromanage yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to micromanage everything so much in your mind. It's like, if you see yourself how you're micromanaging, then you realize there are things that you're managing that you don't need to manage anymore. There's ideas that are outdated that you're still managing. You're still putting in compartments in your brain that you don't necessarily need to micromanage that any longer. And that's something they want you to be conscious of, because that's part of this clearance phase. You're just saying that old thought, and even with you too, I still get a, that a heaviness with your mom. I get an unresolved with your mom, or some pressure and burden from your mom, and your dad just saying that, like, you're not supposed to mother your mom. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying, because otherwise, in order to be around her, you'd have to mother her. Do you know what I'm saying? And so your mom is not being the mother. And so your dad's like, in order for you to have a relationship with her, you have to mother her and look after her. It's like, that's not your responsibility. And so you have to like purge that too, because there's still that guilt underneath. Even though you don't talk to her, there's that resentment. It's like it just came up with somebody else too. And it's funny, the collective read, the mother energy came up in the collective read. So then it's came up in these individual reads. So it's interesting how Spirit's working on that. But he's saying, you want to let go of the fact that, like, well, you still hold a guilt to this. Your mom has been very clever of dumping guilt, and you still are harboring guilt and of not speaking to her.
I love you. You're totally like on point, and thank you for releasing. I want to release this. I do love her very much, and it's okay the way that it is. It's totally okay.
It is
and I'm
complete.
okay and I'm great, and
It's completely okay, and I think it's just releasing that is what's going to bring this, like we said, that the emotional breakdown again, like breaking things down, not like you're out of control. That's going to be the change, and where you start feeling your own energy because it's clear of that distraction and distortion. And your dad wants to be a huge part in that for you, love.
Oh, Dad, I love you. Thank you so much, Scott. This has been awesome. I love seeing you. I can't wait to see you in May. And for
Yeah.
anyone who's watching, I can't wait to see all of you and give you a big hug. And I just want to say one other thing, like letting go of this old thinking. I think that's something that Christopher has been talking about a lot. Like we're all heading into the new story, but our mind might in some ways still be in the old story. And through these eclipses, we'll be flushing all of that. So that's another great confirmation.
Yeah, and and I always like to say too, it's not like you have to like push it, forget the story. It's part of your story. Just continue on with the story, right? A lot of times we talk about the old story, but we leave it in the past tense. But understand how the story is evolving. We can't disconnect from those experiences. It's those experiences that made us. What I was saying in the beginning too, in the collective read, is that it is part of your story, but you want to evolve from that story. Like for example, like I don't have a relationship with my mom that's stuck there, but I'm realizing I deserve more in my life, that I'm not responsible. So my mom's at where she's at, and so you're continuing on that story. This way, it's there, but it's not holding you back, and you're not trying to break away. That's the thing that people have a hard time doing, is breaking away from important circumstances in our past that define us. And then we haven't really defined ourselves from it, so we stay stuck. We can't move because we're like, no, we can't disconnect from those experiences. They defined us. And so I think that's the realization you'll be making, more like closing down the psychic bond in a sense and allowing yourself to evolve from the experience itself. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Let's do
All right,
this.
love.
Let's do this.
You got this, love.
Yes. Can't wait to see you soon. Thank you
Like-
so much. Love everybody. This is fun. I'll be back next week.
Love you too. And we'll definitely have fun in May too at Unite the Light. Those who aren't watching, we'll tell you more about Unite the Light soon. So good to see you, my love.
Thanks, Scott. Love Thursday nights. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Love you. Bye. I'm hanging up now. Bye.
Am I on? Here we go. Okay. Make sure my mic was on. I have to keep muting my mic. My new mic with my new compressor picks up on external audio, which doesn't do the cancellation, echo cancellation. Unfortunately, I realized that last live. I'm like, how come my other mic didn't do that? This mic, I have a heavy compressor on it, so it picks up the other sound, so it thinks it's not echo cancellation worthy. So, all right, we have Celeste now for a video. So Celeste, you're there. So I'm going to give you and copy the link for you here for Celeste. Bada bing. I'm just doing it in the chat. I trust you guys aren't going to bombard. So Celeste, I put that link in the chat. Click on that, call on in, and we will get you. You are the last but not least. I'm going to make sure there's nothing on PayPal. I didn't check my PayPal. But I think that the last but not least, and we're making good time tonight. So just copy that link in your browser, Celeste, and we'll get you right on. And I do have some PayPal ones. We have, after this, we have Jill O'Brien and we have Isaac. Oh.
Hello. Is the sound working? I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you couldn't hear me. I had me muted for a second. Sorry.
Okay.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. And
so, what's your question, love?
I'm gonna. So I don't actually have a question. I just wanted a general check-in because I have so many different things going on that I don't even know what to narrow a question down to.
I mean, I guess kind of guide me because I need something to go off of in a sense. So if you want me to tap into something general, just helps it to go off of something. I would say it's like me tapping into a hoarder's home. There's so much going on. Let's start with the room.
Pick through my shit. Come on.
Right. And some things I don't want to see if I don't, so I just start with an area. Yeah.
Okay. So, relationships, friendships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. We'll just look generally speaking.
Yeah.
Is there actually, we'll do this. Is there any specific you want me to read? Anybody particularly you want me to read to get insight on them? Just we could specifically, or we could just do general, because I can read a specific person if you want to and give you the lowdown on them.
No, I don't want. Part of me does. Okay. I was gonna say close the door. No, I'll give me a few moments. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna warm some of this up.
I'm good. Yeah.
I mean, you just tell me where to go and I'll read it. I just need direction. Tell me where to go.
Yes. Okay. With Joseph.
Okay. Let's see. Hopefully he's not going to be offended by some things we say here. Well, obviously, this is more than a friend, I would say, correct? Is it more of a...
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, clearly. But let me see. I think we're going to give more of an understanding.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll get more of an understanding about the dynamic, too, and what the connection is with him, and kind of give more clarity in a sense. Okay. Very sensitive person. I don't know if he expresses the sensitivity much, but I feel that, there's a lot of sensitivity going on with him. I think that, in his own mind, he might take a lot of things personally. Okay. So, but it might come out in a way that he might suck it up and, everything's fine. Everything's good. So I think that he could be more in tune to that sensitivity, and more trance with that sensitivity. I think in relation with you, I think that, there is a lot of respect, though, I feel like he has for you. And I think that he kind of, in a sense, I don't want to say this in a negative sense, but looks up to you. I think he really much looks up to your energy and how you are. There's a respect in that sense, right? Because it's more than just like an intimate connection. He's like, as a person, I respect her because she feels very much on top of things, right? And so... you might remind him of a mother energy a little bit. And so that's not a bad thing, right? In a sense, just because I don't feel like you're mothering him, but there's a respect. There's a respect for that in a sense. But I do feel like he needs to be more, transparent with his emotions though. And your guides are saying, let him talk. Let him talk. So you might have to be more mindful that you're letting him speak up and you're not speaking for him in a sense, right? So make sure you're mindful of this. I feel like the connection, is great, and I feel like the connection is, could be a very good mix as long as you understand the balance of not trying to be overly mothering, overly in control in that sense, right? Then I feel like it could really work because I feel like there is that little boy in him that wants to like pull his pants up, said, I did it for myself. I did it. I feel like he has that within him as a little boy to want to do it for himself. So, and I do feel like there's a little bit of a deprivation from his father energy in a sense, and not really getting what he's needed from his father to a certain degree. That doesn't mean things are bad. It just means that he probably didn't get the push or motivation he really, really needed in a sense. And I see that a lot with people who actually have their fathers in their life, but the father didn't push them enough. The father was too little, just was around, but didn't really like say, hey son, like I'm going to like really throw the ball with you. I'm going to show you all this way. And I feel like he feels deprived in a sense with his dad energy in that regard. I don't feel resentment, just a little bit deprivation in that sense with that. So I feel like he's never really had much guidance because of that, in a sense. So what that can turn into could be, lack of confidence, and not really saying what he wants to feel. And so just make sure you're helping him to express himself, not that you're doing it for him, they're saying.
Gotcha.
Okay. But, he feels very sincere to me. I think he has he has a decent moral compass because I still feel like he still has a good family unit around him to a certain degree, in a sense, the sense of that. So I think he has a great moral compass and such. But I feel like he's going to get a new job this year too, or is looking for a new job or getting a new opportunity with work. So there might be an extension for work for him this year or new opportunity. So, because I don't know if not that he feels unemployed. I feel like he's not working the way he wants to be working. And I feel like that will establish this year for him, where there will be an opportunity for work, either a promotion or a new job or a leveling up in his work and in what he does. I feel like there'll be a boost in that this year for him, which also will interpret financially. It feels more full-time. Maybe he's not doing full-time now, or has full-time, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
There hasn't been any employment right now.
Okay, so he might find something that year because I felt like a very much a need for a job you know. And so I feel like he'll find that this year, and that'll make him proud, you know, make him proud this year. I don't feel like he's like, you know, he found comfortability not having a job, but I think it's starting to get to him now. He enjoyed it for a while. Oh, I'm fine. Celeste is kind of taking care of things, but now he's like, I did that. I need to, like, it's bothering me now, you know? So, so I feel like him kind of like stepping that up too. He might work for a carrier. Like it might be like FedEx or UPS or something with a delivery. So I feel something of that nature he might work for. They pay well. I know that, but I feel working for like a shipping carrier or something of that nature. Maybe just to get the ball rolling.
Interesting.
Any other questions?
Well, so then, then as far as like friendships go, and like I've like gone through a
okay. I'll hop in. I'll hop in. Generally speaking, yeah, okay, because it is a general thing we have to talk about. So I don't want you to give me information. So I'll hop in. Gotcha. Spring cleaning, baby. Okay, yeah. I definitely feel like a lot of clearance around you. I feel like there's a group of 5 people around you, and I think you're looking at, there's 5 individuals in your life that 2 got to go. Or maybe out of 5 people, there are 2 relationships that either are on the way outs or will be on the way outs this year. So,
I can't even think of 5 relationships I have.
oh, well, maybe it could be connections. It could be connections. But I'm saying like 5 people around, maybe in your past, because there's like past connections. And so a lot of this could be also an emotional purge. When I see these 5 people, they were translucent to me. So it just could be ideas, or 5 people come around you this year too. And then 2 will have to go. So I think the consideration in that sense of clearing people out and understanding the balance between who needs to stay, who needs to go, is the emphasis for me of this year when it comes to friendships. So you might meet a group of people that you connect with, and then 2 people are part of that group that are just not good, and you have to not communicate with them. So out of 5, I saw 2 gone. So that'll make sense more in the future, I think, because I do feel like you'll be connecting with a group of people or a community of people in a sense this year. Because I felt like there was a spring cleaning, or you cleared out, or there's just clear space, or how to clear people out in a sense. I get a lot of that, but I think that you'll have to kind of make sure when you start making these new connections that not everybody's going to stay. I would say that you'll still have to fine tune this. So I guess the overall messages to me is really kind of balancing out who stays and who goes in your life, and being very conscious of this. Okay. But I do see 2 particular individuals that are connections that you'll have to like let go of in a sense, you know. And it could be work, it could be different type of connections in that sense that just you're connected, you're tied into you, that you'll just have to say no to. That feels future to me though.
That's future.
Okay. So I think you will be faced with like who stays, who goes energy for sure.
That's how I've been feeling, quite honestly, is like even with my own children, adult children, and friends that I am not friends with anymore. Like that's happened a lot in the last 4 to 2 months.
So I mean, so you've cut out people then. So I'm probably just reading the past then. Have you cut people out, or
people have literally fallen off? Like
how many people? How many people would you say have fallen off?
Well, okay, I separated back in April, and then one friend went there, and then another one. It feels like a lot, really. Like it feels like a lot. I'd say probably 3 right now. Okay,
so that could be what I'm picking up on too. You know, this whatever people I'm sensing. So forget about the number. I feel like I get clearance, so we'll just keep it general. Maybe the 2 will make sense later on out of 5. 2 out of 5 might make sense later on, but I definitely felt the clearance. I definitely feel like having to like manage who comes in and comes out, be more conscious of this, and the new people you meet, you'll have to do the same. Because I feel like you will meet a new group of people that are different, but you'll have to be in that same position of they're not all good.
Yeah.
And just kind of fine tune that. So that's kind of the theme this year is setting those boundaries. You know, well, yeah, being discerning, but like not carrying too much either.
Oh, okay.
But not just not caring too much, but like, you know, you can't be driving the show all the time. You know, when it comes to your relationships, you shouldn't want to have to drive all the time. You know what I'm saying? Let someone else take the steering wheel for you, because you got to experience what that's like to, you know, have someone show up and to, you know, let someone else shine for you. You know what I'm saying? And so, because when they shine for you, then it's almost like you shine too, because they're kind of showing up for you. So you become on the pedestal in a sense, and then you shine. But when you're always showing up, you're not allowing yourself to really shine in a sense, because everyone else is becoming the focus, you know? So it's just being more conscious of that with friendships this year. And I think that, again, I see a group of people coming in, or some sort, or you connecting with a community of people in that sense. And you'll have to identify, yeah, they're all the same, but they're all not too. You know, so you'll have that clear indication of that moving forward. I don't think that'll be difficult for you by any means.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice.
Anything else before we close it?
Let's see here. So so I'll go back, since we read about career a little bit last week, and doing my first fair in April. And so I feel like I have, like you were saying, like I do have my direction stuff. But if there's anything else there, if like the track that I am on as far as what my services are that I'm providing is what I'm.
Yes, you're on the money with that. It's just allowing the path to unfold for you. Like, again, let spirit take the steering wheel. You're not controlling all of it, right? So allowing spirit to say, like, we're setting the path up, right? Your own soul is setting the path up, and there's a process to that. There's a path to follow with that, and there's a lot to unfold, and things will unfold in this kind of format where it's exciting. And so you're on that path for sure, 100%. So just allow yourself to experience the mysteries and the excitements to unfold in that sense. But you are, and the realizations are coming to you, and they'll keep coming to you. If everything happened as on a snap of a finger, we'd be so freaking bored.
Right.
You know, this happened so quick.
I know that in my heart. It's the rest of me that like can't always get around that, and it's like, can we just like now?
Well, that's because you're not trusting yourself. That all comes from lack of trust in self. That, like, it's got to get done. If it's going to be good, let's get it good. If it's going to be bad, let's do the bad now. It's a thing of not being in control, but understanding even control is even allowing things to go smoothly too, and to go slower too. That's quite all right too. So just remember that too, that you're not beating yourself up too much. That you're allowing yourself to be in control of not being in control, right? That whole paradox. But in the end of the day, you are.
Yeah.
That's just the ego. The ego wants to be in control because it has fears, so the ego doesn't know how to process the fears. The ego's like, this has got to happen so I can feel better, so I'm in control. But the spirit's like, I already am in control, ego. You don't have to worry about a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got this year. There's going to be a lot of that movement this year for you too, so it's good to see you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the live reading connecting today. That's what it's
Me too. It's good. It's good to see your face. It's a pleasure to see your face for the first time. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Good night, my love.
How do I get out of here? There we go.
Okay, so I think we have some card pulls, and then we got you. Let me see here. A few more. Isaac, you are in queue. I have a card pull for Jill O'Brien. Okay, yeah, Jill Bryan, and then Isaac will be. Actually, we have two in queue here, which is make sure we did Tom already. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have a card pull for Jill, and then Isaac. We have a reading with Isaac there. So, and we guys coming for a live reading. Have a question? Okay, we get you on video. So Isaac, you'll be after this card pull. So when you come on, just have a question ready, and we'll hop into the question. And of course, if there's anything general I will throw it in. Like, for example, with Sydney, her dad came through randomly. So Spirit may not always come through in this format. It's a short reading session. So, but just make sure you prompt me with a question. We do this. So there's a card pull for Jill, and then we will close with Isaac Mandrano. And let me close this down too, so people don't think I'm still taking the readings. All right. And actually, my data waves have been off all night tonight. I'll put them on while I'm doing the card pulls. I know, Sydney. Spirit's always unexpected. They're always unexpected. But I think you needed that, love. That's what you really needed. Is that connection today. And it's funny, you were talking about him tonight, and he came through tonight. So, that's almost like your dad hearing. Oh yeah, Kristen, but I haven't gotten your question, Kristen. I will get you tonight, but I just need your question. I haven't received your question yet. So, type it in the chat, Kristen. Because I asked the question and get it, so I don't know if maybe you were asleep or something. So just put it in the chat. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I got your questions. I got it. No, I got you. No, I got it. I'm seeing it now. You're good. I'm just doing this for Jill O'Brien. Long card pull for Jill. Four Pentacles. Jill, there's some work endeavor you're going to shine on. So there might be an opportunity this year for you, Jill, to where you will shine in some sort of work endeavor, or some sort of a moment where you will shine with your abilities and talents. So there's some recognition, I feel like, this year for you in the workspace, Jill. And I also feel like there'll be more investments this year, because the Ten of Cups is all about that kind of investments and happiness and so forth. So I think you're getting the well-deserved recognition this year. That could be both literally or figuratively. It feels like work and workspace. And I feel like that whatever investments that you've been making also could be coming to fruition, or more investments coming in as well. So it's time for you to shine now. And I think that you're going to be taking a lot of that, getting a lot of that recognition and shining this year. But make sure you're also having direction in that too, because there's like celebrating a lot of that and a lot of that harmony and happiness and so forth. It's great. But make sure you're also being aware of the next steps after this and where you want to build into. Okay. But I want you to settle on that though, and the recognition, and then settling in, again, having that, you know, the promotion, or like I said, the bonus, or the article, or whatever it is that you're getting that recognition on. I do want you to enjoy that. And again, I see new investments this year too. So whatever investments that you have made, or are paying off, or you actually will start getting investments this year that will start paying off. So I just get that kind of current of energy when it comes to that this year. So it seems really good when it comes to the work sector, and just overall happiness in a sense, a lot of that kind of movement with things and accomplishments. So, but you're supposed to shine this year, and getting that recognition in what you're doing. So receive it. Okay, Jill? I like that. And let's go to Kristen, and then Isaac is last, because Kristen kept slipping around. Okay, and my uncle passed away. Is he still around? Just want to know that he's okay. Let me see if I can connect with him. It's very right now in a question. This is for Kristen. If they can channel right now, I like having a person in front of me when doing these. Is your uncle around? He's not connected to the physical world, Kristen. Right? Not at the moment. I'm feeling of his passing feels like it was hard on him. Again, it's a passing, but there's some level of his passing that feels very difficult. He must have had a difficult passing to a certain degree. And I want to clarify. And we could say, well, every passing is difficult. No, not every passing is difficult, or strenuous. And so I feel like your uncle's passing feels difficult and heavy, to where he's not staying so close to physical reality. So he's more telepathically connected with you. I don't feel like you'll be feeling a lot of like external, presence of him in that sense, because he's not really hovering close to the physical reality. So, and I think being clear from this is something that I think that was, being set free from this is something that I feel like he really enjoys. But it feels very difficult and straining on him, in a sense that he's clearer now. You know what I'm saying? I just get this sense of clarity and not having to, focus on the distortion, It could be a cognitive decline. It could be something of that nature. Yeah, there's a lot going on with the passing, but it might take him some time to like connect back to physical reality. What are you saying? He had Alzheimer's, so it was a slow descent. Yeah. It might take him a long time to connect back to physical reality, in a sense. But, he's connected with you. There's a difference. People might not feel him around, are people trying to figure out right now? Did he have antiques or something old of value that people are trying to sell? Because I feel like people are trying to decipher if they should get rid of some of his valuables, or there's some sort of valuables or something of that nature. People trying to decipher over. don't know if that makes sense to you, but they're kind of, he's kind of saying like, you know, they don't need to worry about where it's going. You know, it doesn't matter, because I feel like people are really trying to say, but what would he want? What would he want? What would he want? Like I feel like there's a lot of conversations about this right now, even something stupid. And so he's kind of saying they shouldn't worry about that. They shouldn't worry about what's going on. You know, what's going with that, and what they're doing. It's difficult for him to communicate right now in spirit. It will take him some more time to be clear in communication, you know, because of the passing and how strenuous the passing was. Yeah, exactly. He's like, there's like stupid things. There's still like, but what should we do with this? And it's like, it's not that big of a deal. He's saying, so let them go, you know. And if you guys find value in that, he's like, then that's where it's at, you know. If it connects with your heart, he's saying, let it be there. Let it be at that stage. Don't let it be too much about what he wants or doesn't want. He's not there with those things at all. You know, I feel a strong connection to you. So I just see he was like a dad to you. So I was going to say he is telepathically connected to you. I don't know if he ever told you. He's saying like, I never told you I was proud of you enough. So either he always told you he was proud of you or didn't tell you enough. And it just like doesn't limit that. It's almost like you say, I'm proud of you. It's very, 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 very emotional in that sense of how he's proud of you. And so it's like he's saying that, like, I never said it enough, even though I feel like he said it a lot too, but maybe he just wanted to say it more. And he's saying, I held on for a reason. He's saying, I held on for a reason. He's saying he's coming through your psychic abilities, your psychic mind. Okay. So make sure, like I said before, it's telepathic. That card just threw out at me. So he's saying he held on for a while, and a lot of people are saying he's still holding on. He's still holding on. It's like the timing wasn't right. He was fighting in a sense, but he wanted to make sure everybody was at peace of his passing, so he held on for that. So he was being very kind of considerate of those around him in a sense, and you know, so he was kind of fighting in a sense, but he was sticking around longer for others around him, and so everyone kept saying he was hanging on, he's hanging on, he's hanging on, he's hanging on. And he really was hanging on. He was. Not for him, but for others. And so to make sure the timing was perfect for everybody else. And so, I mean, he seems very selfless that way. But now he's really focusing on himself, which is why I think he's not connecting with the physical world so much right now. So people might not feel his presence. He might not be manifesting, you know, specific things and all. But for some reason with you, my love, he's connecting with a butterfly. I know it sounds general, but I actually don't get butterfly as much as a reference in my reads, actually. So he's connecting with a butterfly, and I don't know if you've written something to him in a journal and drew a butterfly. He's almost showing to me like a drawing that you've written something in that way. And it's acknowledging something you've written about him, and there's some sort of butterfly. It looks sketched or drawn to me. So he's saying he got the note, or he appreciates whatever you've written about him in that sense. And I don't know if you drew the butterfly or that's the connection you'll have after session showing his presence of the butterfly reference. Okay. So pay attention to that. And he loves you very much. But like I said, he's very much, you know, taking care of himself now, which is why he's not kind of connecting with the physical world in a sense. Okay. But I don't know what that writing is. If either you or somebody else that wrote something to him or a memory of him. Yeah. And then also to that butterfly reference too. It looks very detailed in my mind how it's been written or drawn out. And okay, and then we'll do the card pull for the second part, and then we'll get Isaac on video, and then we'll conclude the evening. Because I have to be mindful of the time. Some of these questions, you know, they warrant a very long read. You know, they're not simple questions, and I have to be mindful of that too. Because otherwise, just have a read, but yeah, you might see that as a reference, but what has been written, and maybe you or someone else in the family, he's showing something written on like notebook paper in pen, something written about him or to him or something like that, and then they drew a butterfly. It's so specific, so it's either you or somebody else. Figure out who that is. Okay, figure out who that is, because I it's so specific that this writing on notebook paper, on a pad. This writing, so to you or somebody else, you'll know what he's talking about. This happens all the time as a medium. I get so many things. You're like, huh? And then after the session, like, oh my god. All right, and I want to end the night too. Okay, maybe someone wrote him a note, you know, or something. And you know, the card pool for you. I don't know where they're going with this. This is emotional read for me too. Like they're just saying, make sure you're expressing yourself. You know, right now. I don't know if there's a male energy in your life right now, or is this a brother energy that's standing by your side that can utilize this male energy as support, emotional support right now. It's general vague to me. I don't know what's going with that, but maybe you can make some sense of this. But, you know, they're saying make sure you're being open, that you're not holding things back, that you're communicating. Again, here's that communication reference again. Make sure you're being communicative about how you're feeling right now. Let your feelings be on the table for yourself. Don't be holding things back too much. And whatever male energy is in your life right now, if it's a brother or if it's a lover, there's a strong male energy that they're saying to lean on, you know, and that might be your uncle / dad saying, you know, lean on this person. You know, you can lean on them and allow yourself to lean on this energy, this male energy. Okay. To allow yourself to be emotional. You don't have to be driving the show. This is like what I said with Sydney. You don't have to be driving the show. Allow yourself to rely on that male energy in your life right now. Okay, very simple on the card pull. Okay, all right. Next we have Isaac. I'm glad we got you in. Maybe your uncle just wanted to have a time. Your dad wanted to have a time where it would be easy for him to come through. Maybe that's why I kept it being overlooked. Because I always say that stuff. Everything happens for a reason, you know. And so maybe it's just a better time for him. All right, Isaac, if you are in the room still. Yeah, so that he's saying that male energy rely on him. Because I'm like, I don't know if it's like your boyfriend, it doesn't feel like a boyfriend to you, but it feels like a male energy, but it feels like a lover energy, but it's not yours, but it like a brother. So if it's like your friend's husband, that's a close energy. I can read on this, but you know, so he's just saying, you know, he's sent you for a reason. He's sent to help you for a reason spiritually, okay? So rely on him and appreciate that. All right, Isaac, thank you for waiting. You were unfortunately last in the queue. So just click on that link or put that link in your browser and it will call in. And then we can get you on. And we'll do that. Oh, he's like a brother to you? Okay, then perfect. So that's the energy you're saying. Makes perfect sense. Like lover, brother energy. What am I getting? So your friend's husband, who's like a brother to you, yeah. So he's saying, you know, rely on him. Like you might be like also feeling uncomfortable about that, but understand spirit will send people in your life too. Okay. Let's get Isaac on here, and let's get you in the screen, and let's get the banner on. Hello, Isaac. Good evening to you, brother.
Good evening, Brother Scott.
Yes, sir. So what's your question?
All right. Okay. I've been pivoting income streams, I feel like, for like the past 2 years. I say 2 years because...
Wait, say that. Say more time. Do you say you're feeling dreams? I'm sorry, I missed that part. Say it again.
Pivoting income streams. So, and you know, one of them I see as like, Sensei will say it, a golden egg project. The other can tie very much into that. I even, you know, today driving just dropped like, hey, take the business name you had, tag on SEO, and there's no need to conflict on that. So I'm just like, so my question is like, you know, what is the path of this coming year? And I say this coming year because I'm going to be sponsoring my fiance who's working in Hong Kong to come join me in America. And so I guess you can say the adulting has stepped up to another level.
Okay. Yes, I'll hop in. I'll hop in before you give me too much information. So I guess you just want to maybe look at more of the direction with your ideas and income, right? And stuff of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. The first thing I was keep hearing was like unify. So, you know, this is more of an intellectual processing, because I think that, you know, what you're probably doing is fragmenting things too much, or maybe keeping things too separate when you should be unifying ideas right now. So this year it is about kind of unifying ideas and kind of finding one, instead of having different types of streams, in a sense, you're unifying that in a sense to where it's like becoming one idea. That might be weird because like, how does these two things become one idea? By seeing yourself as the one person that's doing that. And so I think that when you're experiencing more of that realization this year and you're having more of that flow of idea, because I think you're gonna be very inspired to write this year. And not so much about writing a book, but writing your ideas out, game planning, structuring things. So I think this year is like an intellectual change for you, massive intellectual change. I was also hearing purging limited beliefs, actually, because there's a lot of limited beliefs that are coming into play about having to struggle, having to fight. So a lot's going to be realized to you this year. So it really isn't much about how you're doing your work and how you're kind of processing these ideas. It's about the space you're coming from as you're processing that. So that's the intellectual space. So they're saying there's going to be a lot of intellectual clearances this year. A lot of the emotional and intellectual blockages will be revealed to you. I see you like really strategizing a lot this year, almost like channeling the information that you need to get your endeavors off the ground, in a sense, and putting them to fruition. I heard they're also saying a product idea. So you might decide to take one thing into a product type of idea, turn it into a product in a sense. So that idea will be inspired to you too. I almost feel like everything that you thought how you're going to do things is going to be shattered in a good way. You'll be like, I thought to do it this way, but no, it's actually this way I'm doing it. So that realization is going to be coming forth to you this year. That's a celebration for me. Because a lot of they're saying, and this is an emotional read, I understand that, but it's necessary because it's how you're thinking and processing and how you're encoding this information is going to change your life. So they're saying that, you know, how you've been coming out with your endeavors is still coming from a place of scarcity and a place of lack, in a sense of you're trying to push forward in that space. I hear your mom in the back of my head saying, "Oh, honey, you got to save onto little things." And you know, for some, as your mom kind of gave that scarcity mindset as a way to prepare, and so I get that. We got to get out of that. And so I think this year, when you start doing that channeled writing for yourself, not that you're writing a book, but channeled writing for yourself, all that game plan, I feel like you're going to have the blueprint. It's going to come out of you this year, okay? And so I want you to be open for your ideas that you had previously to be shattered, but you're going to have right after that of this is what how I'm supposed to do this and so forth, okay? So I think you have a lot of great ideas in that sense, and so that's going to be, again, taking its turn in the positive sense about how you're going to execute, okay? And again, the unify, this is not going to make sense right now. This will make sense in about 3 months. You're like, oh, I get what he's saying about unify. I get this. So you're definitely on track for that. I'm saying we because Spirit is channeling with me and your guides. We want you to understand you have to start looking at it differently and processing it differently and coming from within. You're still coming from outdated logic right now. Okay. I think that you mentioned about, your, do you say fiance or girlfriend? What was the title? Fiance is coming in. I think that you need that nurturing energy. Actually, I think her energy is very inspiring to you. Actually, so I think she will not hold back on ideas either. She might just be a channel for you to give you ideas. Honey, why don't you do this? And so I think that she's going to help bring that different aspect of nurturing energy that isn't restrictive, because he feels very much a very good source of inspiration for you too. So I think she's going to help on this. And so I see an intellectual flip-flop this year in a good way, where you're going to be like, I swear to God, you'll be saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm genius. This is genius. You're going to have that breakthrough. Okay. But what you need to be doing now is just making sure you understand or conscious of that you've been coming from a scarcity mindset. And that's you're filtering your ideas through that. And that's what's kind of making it stagnant in a sense. Does that make sense in a way? Because a lot of it won't make sense because it's future, but as far as the mindset.
It does, because with my fiance, I've kind of been like sprinkling seeds of inspiration. So maybe she can come to her own, because she's also very connected, visualizing herself in this, and I mean she's my biggest champion. I mean I've known that for a long time.
But having that with you is going to help you to, like I said, bring up what you're needing for your inspiration. It's going to bring up that intellectual aha moment. So I think she's going to be a great catalyst for this. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that you need partnership. I feel like, not that you're not good being alone.
I've been fighting alone against.
But that's what I'm saying. You need. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need partnership, though. Like you've been doing that too much with the scarcity mindset, and so fight, 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 and so which brings a lot of resistance. Actually, it's funny. This card has been staring at me. This resistant card has been staring at me, and that does bring a lot of resistance. And I don't mean to sound cliche. Like that sounds very cliche in the spiritual communities, but it's true, you know. And so they're saying you need partnership. You do need that type of partnership, and not being alone in that sense. You have to learn what it's like to have partnership. You have to learn what it's like to allow someone to inspire you. That's why she's in your life. And so I think having her in your close proximity and that current flowing, you'll be a great team in that regard. And again, I they're not spilling the beans of what that idea will be, because you have to go through that exploration of realizing it for yourself. They're saying that aha moment is coming to you this year. And again, in 3 months' time, this is all make perfect sense. That you'll be like almost like feeling like, I gotta write this down. I gotta write this down. I gotta write this down. Oh my God, I write this down. And so you have all these ideas which are going to unify everything and how to direct what you're doing, your idea. Again, this product thing will make sense later too. Either turning something, an idea you had, into a product to a certain degree, like, oh my God, I never thought about that. That'll be another clue they're giving to you right now to think about when it comes up. Because when it comes up at that time, it might not dawn on you unless you've heard it before. And so when it comes up to you, like, oh, it makes sense, you'll look in that direction. So we're kind of being psychic on how to treat these realizations like as they come in, so you don't dismiss it.
Roger that. I've had 3 very impactful dreams, and from different
Well,
ages.
I'll summarize them for you. I'll tap into them and summarize them for you. Let me see. You know, you're a past. I feel like your soul's trying to give you a past life regression. So I feel like there's a lot of past life that's trying to come through to you right now. I think one of them is. I'm trying to get a good how I can explain the energy. Let me sit on the energy a little bit longer so I can like read that, because it's trying to resurface for you. Yeah, you were alone in a previous lifetime too. Your previous incarnation, you were alone too. Children were taken away from you. You were left. And then I don't want to say enslaved in a sense, because I'm going back, but I felt like you were always on the run in this lifetime too. Children taken away from you, things pulled away, rug always pulled beneath you, always on the run. And so never really had a settled energy. And so I feel like always on the run energy is really important right now, because I want you to understand how to make things more concrete for yourself in this lifetime. And that is figuratively speaking as well as literally speaking. I think you're learning this, but I think in a sense of, if you were to look at your energetic current right now in this lifetime, in a sense, you kind of are always running from something in a sense. You may not know what it is. It may be nothing, but you feel like, well, I think I'm always kind of running away from something in a sense. It's a current that's underneath you that's trying to come to realization for you through a past life regression that says you're always running your past life. You had everything always taken from you. And the reason is because you associate yourself with the wrong people, the wrong tribes in a sense. And you associate yourself in the wrong environments. And you were fighting and putting all this energy into running, into, and into getting what you want. But instead of just leaving that alone and allowing yourself to go into the environment that you can really thrive in, that is actually the message there. Finding the environment you can actually thrive in, the energy you thrive in, not trying to fight in an energy that you can't thrive in. So that's a karmic lesson that I think is the undertone here for you. So you have to tap into the emotion. You have to tap into the intellect right now. That's why we're having this conversation like this, is because it has nothing to do about like the game plan of work. You're just, the expression is becoming constipated because of the intellectual and karmic pattern that's underneath, that's stalling your perception of life right now. But again, that veil is going to be removed this year. That's coming off this year. You're taking the blindfolds off, because you've been putting out that great energy. You've been putting out the passion, but you understand there's a modality, there's a current underneath you that's keeping you stuck in that old paradigm, and that's being released this year for you. And so I might be wrong on this, but I feel there's a lot of Leo energy associated with you and some Cancer energy. So I think you have to stop. Are you Leo? Okay.
I am a Leo, and my grandfather is a Cancer.
Okay, so you carry that energy, but so you're very, like, maybe loyal to the wrong things, you know, and at the same time, you know, I think you're emotional, but the Leo aspect is keeping it contained instead of expressed. And so we want you to be more expressive on that emotion this year, and you will be. You'll be forced to, because a lot of these ideas will come to you, and I think you'll have a breakthrough. The prediction of Leos for me was like there was going to be that trouble this year with career, and I talked about this with Christopher, that there will be some sort of downside with career, but then a boom. But you're not an ego, and you haven't really been much an ego, so I think you'll have the boom quicker than a lot of other Leos actually this year. So again, everything's gonna be unified for you this year. All right.
Roger that.
Anything else before we close? Anything specific before we close?
No. I feel good tingles.
The tingles are good.
I mean, the tingles are good.
But you also have to understand too. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your paternal side has a strong mystical side to it. So your paternal side, very mystical, very highly intuitive. There's even some occult energy along the lines there too from the previous. So please tap into those mystical powers. Tap into that.
Okay.
Okay. It's good to see you, brother. If you have any questions, like shoot me an email, okay?
Absolutely, Scott. I have to say, like, you're incredible. I came across you, thanks to Sensei Christopher, and I've been starting to tune in for the last 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm just like, Scott Cruz is the man. And when I only see 832 subscribers, I'm just like, that needs to have like several zeros.
You're kind.
At the end of that.
I just started the whole social media thing, so I'm patient with the process. I'm actually here for you guys. I'm not really here for me, so whatever the journey takes, it takes. But I just started YouTube last year. Spirit's like, go on YouTube. So I'm excited for the journey. I appreciate your support. That means a lot. It very humbles me a lot. So I appreciate that.
No, 1000%. I'll see you at Unite the Light.
Yes. Yes.
And this definitely will not be our last conversation.
I appreciate that. And have a wonderful night, brother. Great to connect with you, man.
Thank you.
Great to connect with you. Good night.
Good night.
All right, that was awesome. That was we switched. There we go. That was awesome. And look, I love seeing you guys face to face. It's wonderful seeing everyone face to face in here. It's a good connection, and I like for you guys to see each other too, in this space as well. And so we are done for the evening. And so those who are watching, or maybe are new, as you know, if you want to book a personal session with me, scottcruzpm.com. The link is in the bio. I will be here every week for you guys as well too. And so and just like he was saying, like share this, share my page, share if you enjoy the resources and information I give out, share with your friends and help build the channel. More so, it's about building a community. It's a pleasure to also be cross connecting with Sirius Joy and Christopher Techie's communities. That's been another blessing too. And so I'm going to leave you guys with an oracle card before we close. And because we're running late again, I have to find a way to put in Lafayette sound bathing. I'm going to do it next week because I'm just so late on time right now. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave you guys off with Lafayette. And I'll close with Lafayette, actually, and I will be behind the scenes, but I'll leave you with Lafayette. So I'm going to pull an oracle card. I'm going to leave you with Lafayette's sound bath, and then you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Love to you all. Keep the faith. It came again. Have faith in yourselves. That came out in the collective read in the beginning. Have faith in yourself, and yes, and make sure you guys are understanding. You guys have it in you to succeed and to accomplish what you want to accomplish in your lives. It's simple, but it's true. We need the reminders. We need cheerleaders. And I'm here to cheer you guys on in your endeavors. And it helps me to expand the work that I'm wanting to do and how I want to expand my work. So you guys help me to expand the work that I'm doing. I want to expand more and learn more about my work. And I'm always in that stage. As long as I've been doing this, I still always want to go get better and do something more and evolve it. So you guys help me to do that too. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Much love, and let's close off with Lafayette and a great sound healing. Have a wonderful night, guys. Much love. See you all next week. Ciao.